Hello, Wathi here with another Arduino lab. Today we're looking at digital inputs. This is Arduino lab 5A. We'll have 5B that looks at analog inputs, so stay tuned. So digital inputs, what are they? Well, we know right here we have our digital pins. They can be outputs like we've seen. That's to turn on like an LED, speaker, control motor output. Or we can actually use them to sense a signal, an input, something going in, a sensor. A button, right? And that's what we'll have in our case. So pin 13 here is going to be an input pin, and we're going to have 5 output pins. We're not looking at this potentiometer. We'll use that later for the lab 5B, analog input lab. So if you want a schematic, I have that right here. That looks amazing. Love it. So good. One thing you'll notice here, this button, when it's pressed, we have a signal going in. When the button's pressed, the signal goes across and then follows this green wire all the way down to pin 13. We have this 10K resistor. This is something called a pull-down resistor that just kind of eats up any leftover charge so we don't fry our board. Good. First, let's take a look what this circuit does. So when I press play to simulate, when I press this button and hold, the lights blink. That's amazing. Stop. So let's get going. I use this Blockly Arduino for the coding. First thing I want to do is click on the Arduino menu, and I like to grab this because it mirrors the same functions that are default. And what do we want to do? Well, first things first, we want to have an if statement, okay? So this is going to be something new. Anytime we use an input, we're going to need that conditional or if statement. And so I'll grab right here under the in, I'll use this guy right here, digital pin. That's what we're looking at. And we're dealing with digital pin 13. What else do we need? Under logic, we have this comparison block. You'll notice in the drop down, there's all those, less than, greater than, all that sort of stuff. For now, we'll just keep it as a straight comparison. And we want to put that there on the left. Awesome. So what's on the left? Actually, no, this is on the left. On the right, we'll grab just a number here, and we'll make that 1. But it doesn't like that. That's one thing you'll notice with this crazy program. What we could do, we could go to in, we could grab this high. So we're asking, is it high, is it low? That also works. Or we could make this digital pin 13 a variable, and then we could enter a number there. Digital pins, again, they're either high or low. So 1 or 0, on or off. So we'll keep it like that. So we're saying if this pin is high, what do we want to do? Well, we want to have a bunch of outputs. And I'll grab this pin right here, or this block. And I'll just copy and paste a whole bunch of these. We have 5 different LEDs plugged into 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And here's a little trick when you're using this block program. If you're holding, you click and hold. Now if I press Control-C for copy while I'm holding on my mouse, now I release, Control-V, I get a copy of the whole block. If I just do Control-C, Control-V, you just get one line. Okay, so this is going to be right there. So first I want it to be on. And then I want to have a short little delay. Let's go with 500 milliseconds. And then I want to change all these to low. Right on. So let's test this out. Copy that code. Go down to Tinkercad Circuits, Control-A, Control-V to paste, start that simulation. And so if I press this button and hold, what happens? Well, it turns on. That's good, but it's not blinking. It turns off there. So what's going on here? You know what? I forgot the second delay. Let's try that out. Glad you were paying attention. Okay, so let's try this out. Simulate that, hold on that button, and we see that it blinks. Beautiful. If I let go, it turns off. The reason why it turns off is because at the end of this, if this is true, if digital 13 is high, which it is when I press the button, it flashes on, delays, turns off, delays, and if I let go of that button, then, well, it's left off already. Something, let's just build upon our code a little further just to make it a little bit more cohesive. If I click right here, I can add an else block. Okay, so usually what happens when this line is true, it will do this set of code. When this is false, it'll skip this and go down to the else. And under the else, what I want to have is just to make sure that it's fully off. Okay. So if this is true, blink. If it's false, jump down here and make sure that it's off. And of course, this is going to work because it worked before. And we'll try it out. It's off. I press the button, hold, it blinks. If I let go, it is off. Okay. So a couple things to summarize here. Digital inputs, they're either on or off, 1 or 0, low or high. They're not a range of values. There's one or the other. When we're doing our code with an input, we're always going to use this if statement. We're going to have a comparison block going on here, and then we have what happens when it's true and what happens when it's false. And you can also notice that if I click on that little gear, you can actually add something called an else if. You can add a whole bunch of these. So you can have a bunch of different conditions. Like one condition, this happens. Another condition, something else happens, and so on, so on, so on. So you have a whole line of them. And we can take a look at, these are the conditions right there. We have our else right there. So it's always good to take a look at I want you to take a look at the text code and not just only the blocks. Hope this was useful. Make sure you like and subscribe and stay around for a couple more videos that'll be coming out. Cheers. Thanks.